Well, greetings one and all. Welcome to the Apptrepreneur Show. I am Kevin, the Apptrepreneur. Welcome. I just realized I don't have that on. I probably should just in case there's some background noise. But anyway, welcome to another episode of the Apptrepreneur Show. This is our daily dose of apps, technology, the gig economy, and sometimes even a little bit of entertainment somewhere in the middle. Thank you for joining. And we have got a packed show today. A lot of really interesting topics that I definitely want to discuss and I want to discuss with you. Now keep in mind, although this is a live show, I cannot actually talk to you for the most part during the show. However, if you want to converse with me and you have a question, feel free to share that question in the live chat. We will be getting to all of them, or as much as we can anyway, at the end of the show. However, before we begin the show, I do want to talk a little bit about a video that I did a few days ago, because the response was both positive but also a little confusing. So a few days ago, I reported on the fact that Panda Express was creating their own delivery service or delivery app, whatever you want to use. Panda Express has decided that in the long run, they want to cut Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash, Grubhub. They want to cut all of those companies out of the food process. Basically, they feel that their fees are too high and the customers pay too much in fees, and they would much rather deliver that food themselves than have the customers pay those fees, and of course, have the company spend money on a partnership. Now, again, the response was positive, but I read a lot of comments that were saying that Panda Express, like, who's going to sign up for a Panda Express app? Like, what gig workers want to do this? It's one company. And guys, here's the thing. Here's something I might not have actually articulated very well, but it needs to be said. This is not going to be a gig economy app. This isn't. Panda Express, their express purpose of this is to not deal with gig workers. That is their end goal. They do not want to have to worry about gig economy. They do not want to have to worry about independent contractors. They want to completely own the delivery service. Now, according to this article, and we don't have to read it, I'll just share the bullet points of it. Panda Express initially will be partnering with DoorDash in some cities to do their own delivery. They will. However, when they have launched this thing, and I think it's already live, by the way, their whole goal was like their own employees were going to deliver the food. Their own employees were going to deliver the food. And so as a result, Panda will have a dedicated delivery driver. Maybe 2 or 3, depending on the location. Who knows? But Panda explicitly wants to get out of the gig economy. And here's why this is concerning if you are relying on the gig economy. Because there's this saying in business that the disruptors eventually become the disrupted. Sure, Apple, who we're going to be talking about in great detail in a few minutes, they may have created the smartphone, but one of the things that's been going on, and it's been noted, they've been struggling. Not a lot, but sales are down, and the iPhone is no longer the gotta-have-it phone. Not when Samsung and all these other companies are making phones that are just as nice as Apple is, except nicer. MoviePass came onto the scene, and hey, revolutionary concept. It's a Netflix for movie theaters. And it looked like it was going to be the next big thing until AMC and Regal and Cinemark all decided, you know what? We can do that too, and pretty much cut MoviePass out of the equation, thus preventing MoviePass from ever truly being able to build partnerships. As food delivery becomes more and more commonplace and becomes a bigger and bigger part of our society, because, you know, social distancing is going to be around for quite a while, Panda Express may be the first company to really say, you know what? We don't need this. We do not need we don't need a middleman. And we can do this ourselves, and we can collect more of the profits. We can pass the savings on to a consumer. And if Panda Express is successful, more companies will follow. Burger King already has home delivery. It didn't pick up the way they had wanted it to, but guess what? Now with everything going on, it's a good time to bring that delivery option back for Burger King. And if Burger King succeeds, eventually you'll see McDonald's, you'll see Denny's, Little Caesars will probably break off their delivery from partnership with DoorDash, and they will deliver. We already know that Papa John's, Pizza Hut, all these pizza places do this. And here's the thing, yes, app delivery is the future. It absolutely is the future. However, what these companies are going to start realizing, and indeed what they have started to realize, is that they don't need Uber Eats and Postmates. Their brands are strong enough on their own that they could get off of those apps, not pay them up to 70% transaction fees, and they can sell directly to the consumer, and they don't even have to charge the consumer that much more extra. So folks, look, I know that you want more options out there, but I think this actually makes a strong case that this actually might be the beginning of the end of food delivery in terms of the gig economy apps. Now I know Target bought Shipt, but I expect that might be challenged at one point because, again, one of Target's things is like, hey, they're using a food delivery app, but they're pressing their own stores above other people's, and they get preferential treatment. Who knows? That might be considered a monopoly. I don't know. But eventually, I suspect the Shipt app would more or less just be used exclusively for Target and maybe a few of their partners. You know that Amazon wants to deliver their packages directly. They want to cut out the middleman, and they're effectively doing it with their whatever it's. I keep forgetting what it's called because I don't use it. Amazon. I don't know what the terminology is, but anyway, I'm sure someone in the comments or in the live chat is telling me right now. So yeah, let's clarify that Panda Express. They have created a delivery app. They will be launching it if they haven't already launched it already, and they will be delivering their food, but they're not looking for gig workers for the most part. They're going to be working with their own employees. And if a lot of companies start to do that, then I think, like with rideshare, you might have to start thinking about your exit strategy when it comes to food delivery gig work. However, that's that. We've clarified. Let's move on now to our first topic. And our first topic, and actually our first two topics, I think about it, is going to be about Apple. Because here's the thing. WWDC took place, it took place today. And I think it's like one of the first things, like one of the first Apple presentations that has been strictly online. Macworld, Apple tends to have like a really showy force at these conventions when they announce the new products. And that's one of the charms of their presentation. You get a bunch of people in a room and you announce new features, new products. And even though from a distance, logically, you can say, that's not exactly going to change my life. Like when Apple did the Apple Card. It's a credit card. It's not that big of a deal. But Apple can put the showmanship into it that can make everyone sitting in that room say, I want that. That I want. I cannot live without that. And so as a result, their first all-digital presentation is kind of interesting. Now, I can't speak to what it felt like for Apple fans to be watching it. I'll ask my buddy Zach later. But that said, there have been some announcements, and let's talk about some of these announcements. Some of them are kind of cool, some of them maybe not so much. But anyway, so like for example, like new Macs will run on Apple-made chips. Okay, they're basically going to save money by cutting out the middleman, kind of like what Panda Express is doing. But here's something that's more interesting, because iOS 4 has actually been announced, and it will make the phone more customizable. So here's what's going on with iOS 4. The latest version of Apple's mobile operating system adds a new home screen, which I assume that's what this is. And I'm not going to lie, if there's one thing about Apple products that is nice, Apple products look cool. They absolutely look cool. I'm still missing the buttons. I think a button is still very, very valuable even in this day and age. But look, they've got the clock, they've got the App Store, they've got all that. They've got all these nice displays. Oh, by the way, look, Apple stock. They can't help but brag about their Apple stock. Of course, I do want to point out something. My Samsung has done this for years. So if this stuff is new, and again, I'm not an app, I don't use Apple products. My wife does, I don't. Then little late to the game, but then the Apple Pro was not the Apple Pro, the iPod Pro, the iPad Pro was also like 3 years late than the Microsoft Surface, and everyone said that the Surface was not that important and it wasn't revolutionary. But then when Apple does it, but anyway, can you tell I'm an Apple cynic? Let's continue. Let's get back to what they've announced. The new app library includes all downloaded apps automatically organized into folders, starting with Siri suggestions based on your typical app use and recently added. With this new feature making it easy to find whatever you're looking for, you can now hide pages from view to get yourself even more streamlined. Widgets are also getting a new look, as well as the ability to be dragged from the widget panel to your home screen. So it sounds like all of this is fairly new. Siri will no longer take over your whole screen when you activate it. Okay? Instead, appearing as a small overlay near the bottom of the screen. Also, a new translate feature claims to give anyone the ability to hold real-time conversations with others who speak different languages. That would be a pretty cool feature, I'm not going to lie, if they can get it to work. These cloud-powered translations appear to be similar to Google Translate on Android phones. The picture-in-picture feature lets you continue to watch videos while multitasking on your phone screen. I'm going to be honest. First of all, I've had that feature for a long time, but I disable them because I actually think that that's more annoying than it's worth. And they've got a full roundup of all the latest on the iOS. Now, here's some of the new announcements. Apple is considering reimagining car keys. Car key fobs. So, what do they say here? Well, car key fobs are the biggest, bulkiest, and ugliest item on your keychain. But within the next few years, you'll be able to unlock, start, and share car access with our phones. Apple's car experience engineering manager Emily Schubert demonstrated the iPhone's newest car unlocking features on the 2021 BMW 5 Series. Just use the phone's built-in NFC chip to tap to unlock your car, place your phone on the charging pad, and tap a button to start your car. Well, I see nothing wrong going with this if you don't have a password, or say someone you know, like a buddy of yours knows your phone password, which I guess is rare, but So yeah, I guess you can use your your iPhone to start your car. That's interesting. So iPad OS 14 becomes more like a computer. So the latest version of iPad OS includes a lot of the same enhancements coming to iOS 14 for iPhone, but Apple seems determined to actually utilize the real estate of the larger tablet. One example of this is a new sidebar, one that will appear in the Photos, Notes, Files, and Music apps. It pops out of the left-hand side of app screens and is supposed to offer easier navigation and better organization of app files. A Siri shortcut will now appear on the bottom right of certain app screens. And incoming phone calls will no longer interrupt what you're doing and take up the entire screen. Kind of like my Samsung does. Also, the iPad Pencil is going to get an update, so for those of you who care. The Mac OS and Safari, they're getting an overhaul, so basically a redesign. That's fine. I'm currently using the Microsoft Edge as my browser, and that got like a really neat overhaul recently. So, and seamless device switching is coming to AirPods. Okay, that's cool. And as for the watch, sleep and hand washing features for the Watch OS 7. Now, this is kind of funny. You see this little video here? This is encouraging you how long to wash your hands. Like this is funny. Like by increments, Apple is slowly turning the Apple Watch into the most comprehensive wearable available. When it ships later this year, watchOS 7 will finally have something competitors have had for years: sleep features. My wife is going to love this. The Apple Watch will soon get features including a wind-down routine to start locking down your phone before bed, sleep, monitoring of micro movements as you breathe, a variety of wake-up alarms, and a sleep mode which dims the screen at night. The watch will also get a hand-washing detector and countdown to make sure you're sudsing off all the germs. No word on if it will shame non-hand washers into going back to the bathroom, though. Probably not. I also assume that the Apple Watch is waterproof, or else this would be a completely useless feature. Other new features include new dance workouts and a plethora of new watch faces, including a tachymeter, large font faces, and new third-party and personalized watch faces. Finally, the watch will also get a new battery notification when you wake up because the battery life is still terrible. That's their words, not mine. So, anyway, my announcement, and again, you figure this out. I am an Apple cynic. Honestly, if Apple products cost the same as regular phones, I could care less. But they're adding features that have been available for years to Android users. And like I said, my Samsung, everything that's announced here, except for maybe the hand washing thing, has been on my phone for a long time already. And that doesn't convince me to buy an Apple product. Also, I do still use my headphone jacket, and I still like buttons on my phone. I really do. So, but that's just me. I'm kind of wondering, do I have any hardcore Apple fans in the live stream? Well, if I do, nobody's saying anything. So I guess let's see here. So anyway, but you know the drill. So that's my thoughts on all this new Apple stuff. It's, in my opinion, not that big of a deal. But maybe you are different. Maybe you are an Apple fanatic and you need to spread the gospel of Apple to me and explain why this is so revolutionary. Hey, I welcome those comments. I totally welcome those comments. So you know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Now then, let's continue with our Apple topic with the second main topic. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about the creepy crud in the air. I am so sorry. I know some people don't like this topic, but we have to, because here's the thing. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. FYI, wear your masks. And the pandemic is not ending soon. In fact, what's worse, there's been some spikes in states. I think at least in 19 states there have been spikes in cases as we begin to reopen. And that was to be expected, but some of the spikes are a lot worse than we had hoped. And as a result, Apple is closing some of their stores because of the spike. As an Apple spokesperson says, due to the current C virus conditions in some of the communities we serve, we are temporarily closing stores in those areas. These areas. We take this step with an abundance of caution as we closely monitor the situation, and we look forward to having our teams and customers back as soon as possible. The company will shutter 11 stores across Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Arizona this weekend, which actually, because this article is a few days old, was the past weekend, Father's Day weekend. Now, here's the thing. I give Apple credit for being overtly cautious. I think it speaks a lot about a company's character when no one's forcing them to close, and they stand to lose a lot of money, and they say, to do the right thing, we are going to close some stores. I appreciate that. At the same time, this is going to be interesting to see because the economy can't do a complete shutdown again. It just can't. I don't know if we would survive it. And some companies are not going to be this considerate. And for that matter, if there's a new C virus case that shows up in a store, what does a company do at that point? A lot of these businesses have been closed for months, and they're just finally open, and now they have to start closing again. Sure, Apple can take the hit, but not a lot of businesses can. And it's going to be very concerning to see what happens. So I would like to think that we were doing things properly, that we're washing our hands, that we're not crowding our beaches or our stores, that we're wearing our masks, that would result in these things not having to happen. But I don't think we're there. And I don't know if we're ever going to be there. We have too much of an independent streak in America. We do. And a lot of people don't want to wear the masks. They don't want to walk with people. Heck, there's a good amount of people who don't believe the virus is even real. There's also a good amount of people who think the earth is flat. So you know what my thoughts on that are. But Apple is nonetheless closing these stores out of an abundance of caution. I think because they are doing it themselves and they are not being forced, I have to give them a little bit of respect for that. That is nice. But that said, how many more times can they afford to do this? How many more times are they expected to do this? We can't. I don't know if we can keep doing this, but I don't know what the solution is at this point. You can't just say, oh, nothing's going on, la-di-da, because there is something going on. But, we do want to make sure the cure is not worse than the disease. Anyway, even though it's a touchy subject, I know it is. I'd like to know what your thoughts on this are. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. And now, let's go to our third main topic. And our third main topic involves Uber and Colombia. Because Uber was kicked out of Colombia. They had their license pulled, and they haven't operated in Colombia since. Well, they are back. They are back to operate as before. However, the reasons why might make you laugh or make you groan in frustration because they're back because of a technicality. So, the back and forth drama between Uber and the government in Colombia is endless. This week, a court in Bogota, I hope I pronounced that right, revoked the order made by the Superintendency for Industry and Commerce, SIC, for the ride-hailing platform to cease operations. Consequently, Uber can now return to Colombia and run as it used to. Why it's a big deal. This long-running spat has been a stain on the clean image of the Colombian government has tried to present of being a startup-friendly country. But here's the twist. The grounds for which Uber is being allowed to return have nothing to do with whether or not it's creating unfair competition. So, why is the lawsuit invalid? For Kotek, Uber's offense in hogging all of its customers began in 2012. You might remember this is kind of a monopoly case that they were making. However, the lawsuit was filed 4 years later in 2016. Too little, too late. With the SIC's order scrapped, the ride-hailing company is now happily planning its next move. Will this be the end of it? Not bloody likely. And I thought American journalism got too opinionated. Uber's service remains unregulated in the country, and you can bet your bottom dollar taxi drivers will come up with something else to throw at it. But for now, the ride-hailing platform can savor this small victory. So, the funny thing is, I'm not sure if this article is entirely for or against Uber, but basically the way I read it is this. Uber was sued for creating a monopoly of some sorts. They had their license revoked, and then because of a legal technicality, basically the taxi drivers waiting too long to file, they got reinstated, and now they're happily on the road again. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. Honestly, I expect Uber to exploit legalities like this, and, for that matter, maybe before you sue Uber, you should have all your ducks in a row. So, like the author said, it seems unlikely that this is going to be the end of the topic with Uber operating in Colombia. Chances are the taxi driver unions or whatever they have over there will find another reason to go after the company. But until then, Uber can go back to operating, and I guess people in the region can get their cheap to practically free rides once again. In the meantime, I'd like to know what you think about all of this. Do you think Uber's return is for good? Do you think it's just temporary? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. Before we continue, All right. And with that out of the way, let's talk about our fourth main topic today. And our fourth main topic, where's Ryan when you need him? This is about Warner Brothers' Scoob. Yeah, that cartoon movie about the canine who solves mysteries, but you won't see a lot of that happening in this particular movie. We got to talk about it very, very briefly, because Scoob was one of the movies that was going to go to theaters. It had like a theatrical distribution plan. In fact, it had these really cool stands in the theaters that people loved taking pictures in front of. So the marketing was there for Scoob to be at least a modest hit in theaters. But because of the C virus, Warner Brothers decided to bring the movie straight to digital, like with Trolls World Tour. Now, Trolls World Tour made an unexpected amount of money in digital. Not enough for it to be classified a hit. It still lost money. But Warner Brothers was kind of testing the waters to see if that was a fluke or if that was, a sustainable thing. And today we got word that the movie is getting an early HBO Max release. So this is basically a press release, but ahead of the film's Blu-ray and DVD release this coming July, HBO Max has announced that Warner Brothers' latest animated film, Scoob, will now be available for streaming on HBO Max starting on Friday, June 26th, so this Friday. And then you can click here to pre-order Scoob on 4K. This is a very, very fast turnaround for this movie. So there's a couple thoughts I have about this. The first thing this tells me is that Scoob didn't make money. Something tells me Scoob was not a big hit on its digital-only release. Full disclosure, I bought it because we were really bored and, the nieces and nephews get a kick out of it. We share the Vudu account, so, what the heck? $25, that's a cheap price to pay. But I didn't personally like the movie too much. And we didn't hear Warner Brothers bragging about numbers or how many people watched this at all. They were all silent. So the first thing this tells me is that this movie lost money. And here's the second thing it told me. The second thing it tells me is that this is a trap that the movie studios will set up for themselves if they continue to go down this option. Because what happened? Well, let's see here. It goes online really like a month ago. I think when was Scoob released to the public? Let me look that up real quick to see when it was released. So, it was released on May 15th. That is just a few days longer than a month. Just a few days longer than a month. And it's already going to HBO Max. Now, the people who bought the digital copy of Scoob are probably feeling a little hoodwinked right now. And I admit I'm feeling a little bitter about it, not going to lie. Because they paid $25 for a movie that they could essentially have watched for free a month later. And this is a trap that the movie studios do not want to get into. Because it was said that, hey, during this virus, it's going to kill the theaters, it's going to speed up the process to direct-to-consumer right away. But the thing is, direct-to-consumer is particularly not very profitable. It's still finding its legs. As I mentioned, Trolls had the whole world's attention, all the theaters closed, no one's going anywhere, regular businesses are closed, the beaches are closed. They could only muster about $100 million. That's not a victory. And then you have Scoob, and those numbers were so unimpressive, I assume, because Warner Brothers doesn't even want to talk about them. And then a month later, it's being given away for free on HBO Max. And it has been proven time and time again that movies that go straight to streaming, whether it be The Irishman or Artemis Fowl, they lose money. There's no money to be made there. And it's even hard to gauge whether or not that movie is even selling the Disney Plus subscription or the Netflix subscription, or if people are just watching it because, it's there. Although I will say on a side note, I consider making this one of the topics. I decided against it. The fact that Disney took away their free 7-day trial just before the Hamilton production dropped on the service, that might be a way to test whether or not that thing sells them subscriptions. And in fact, I actually might make a separate video now that I think about it, but that won't be for today's episode. So the danger that movie studios have is, okay, you cut out the movie theaters. You skip them altogether. Well, you're cutting off one source of revenue already. You send them straight to digital. Well, Warner Brothers has now made an example and set a standard that, hey, if you wait just a little bit longer, if you wait like a month or so, you can watch it pretty much for free on HBO Max. And people will not buy it as often. It will be another revenue loss. There is value in making people wait for things. I know consumers don't want to hear it. They want it now, and they want it, a lot of it. But here's the thing. If Warner Brothers put this in theaters, let's say it makes $60 million. Let's say it's a bomb in theaters. Okay, it makes $60 million, whatever. But that's $60 million. Then they send it to digital and Blu-ray. Maybe they make another $200 million off the sales. Okay, that's another $200 million. And then after all those options are exercised, then they put it onto HBO Max, where the people who, lollygag and maybe they aren't interested in paying to see Scoob, well, now they can watch it. And some people might even say, okay, the very, very, very few people might say, all right, I'll subscribe to HBO Max for a month, watch the movie that I want to watch, and then I'll get a bunch of other stuff with the subscription. You do that, and you have effectively 3 methods of income for this movie. But you cut the theaters out, that's cutting one source of income out. And then everything's going digital. Well, now you are making it so that the windows are shortened. Less people are going to buy digital. So look, I know some people say that the movie theaters are outdated, but I believe the relationship is symbiotic. I believe the studios and the theaters are good for each other, and I believe making people wait ultimately results in more money. Again, I'm pretty sure one of the reasons they're doing this early is they're putting Scoob on HBO Max early is because I don't think this thing made a lot of money. I haven't heard anyone brag about the results, and that's one of the nice things when you go all digital. Like, if it's a flop, no one really knows. You just don't talk about it. But I do think that putting it on HBO Max early, that makes people who bought it digitally suspicious about buying a premiere home release digitally again. And it undercuts, heck, this even undercuts like the sales of the DVD and Blu-ray. Like, that just completely undercuts it. So I don't know. I'm thinking this was like Warner Brothers has taken a bath on this one, because this does not make sense to me on why they would do this. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you read something different about this. What do you read from this? I would love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. And with that out of the way, let's get to main topic number 5. And I believe this will be... Oh, sorry, folks. I see an ad is playing. You gotta hate sites like this. But I believe this will be the last topic before I show a public survey. Yeah, we're going to be doing something interesting at the end of here. But I figured I might as well bring this up because, a week ago, I did a video where I announced that Chuck E. Cheese was circling bankruptcy. And the response, I got a very strong response from that video. A lot of people tuned into the live stream. A lot of people left comments. A lot of people like, that's one of my higher viewed videos recently. And it's Chuck E. Cheese. I didn't realize there was a lot of fans of Chuck E. Cheese on my channel. So as a result of that, I think I got to let you know about this because, look, I know that they might be facing bankruptcy, and they are definitely not, they've got a playpen and everything. Like, that place was already infused with germs before this virus. Now it's really going to be filled with germs. So there's a lot of fear that this place will go under. But apparently, there are potential buyers considering buying Chuck E. Cheese Pizza and the Play chain. So, let's look at this. Chuck E. Cheese, the troubled restaurant chain and children's party venue, is fielding interest from creditors and other potential suitors, according to people familiar with the matter, as some brick-and-mortar establishments struggle to survive the C-virus pandemic. The chain, owned by private equity firm Apollo Global Management Incorporated, has drawn interest from potential buyers, including New York grocery magnate John Katzima. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Some people say. Chuck E. Cheese's parent company, CEC Entertainment, is also in talks with a group of bondholders who have offered to invest more than $100 million in the company and keep it out of bankruptcy. John, who has scooped up some CEC bonds, is exploring a possible offer for the family entertainment company, another person familiar with the matter said. So, the company has basically not confirmed or denied any of this. So, but yeah, this is the guy who might buy Chuck E. Cheese. That's a horrible picture. It's not only because it's pixelated, but that's just a bad picture. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I know we try to keep it G-rated on this show, but whatever. So here's the thing. This is actually promising on a few levels. First of all, it would be great if this place didn't go out of business. You know, we don't need another chain to go out of business, another lot of lost jobs, you know, all that jazz. So if we can avoid the lost jobs as much as possible during this, that's great. But here's the other thing. It shows that even during the pandemic, and even with people being a little skittish with germs and everything, there is some value to a place like this. Now, I do think Chuck E. Cheese will have to do something different until most families are comfortable with going back to a family fun zone. They might have to start making their pizza really, really good. They might have to get into delivery more. They might have to do all these things to make it so that people will want to buy their food outside of the restaurant, and then the restaurant is like this extra thing. There's a lot of things that Chuck E. Cheese could potentially do that might prove to be beneficial. In fact, one of the biggest things Chuck E. Cheese can do is maybe they could, you know, like I've been buying, I'm going to be honest here, like for research purposes and for a Patreon and YouTube member exclusive video, my wife and I did buy Chuck E. Cheese pizza from Grubhub as the Pasquale's pizza. And I don't want to spoil the end result, but the pizza was not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. But if it can become great pizza, like this might be Chuck E. Cheese needing to actually make their pizza great. And they might want to completely rethink what their pizza is like. And they might want to send out a bunch of press pizzas to the publishers to make people really want to buy the pizza from the delivery app. And then when the Chuck E. Cheese restaurants reopen again, they might have to do some renovation. There might have to be like a dining area and the play area, like something that truly separates everything. And maybe Chuck E. Cheese gets out of this by becoming edible. Like, it becomes good pizza that you would eat anyway. And hey, if you can go to a restaurant where the kids can also play down the line when the virus isn't as severe as it is and we've got the vaccination and everything like that, maybe Chuck E. Cheese survives this. Maybe they need a buyer with some outside-the-box thinking to save this establishment. I don't know for sure. However, I do want to know what you think about this, though. Are you happy by this news? Do you want Chuck E. Cheese to survive? Do you not care? I got to check the comments real quick. Nobody's commented on the Chuck E. Cheese comments story, so okay. But, hey, anyone who's watching this after the fact, what do you think? I would love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. Now, as that said, I see we have 11 people live. Hey, if you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please do. That would be great. But we're going to end this with me taking a survey. And what this survey is, this is a survey I got from Universal Studios Hollywood. And this is going to kind of be like my open survey to Universal Studios. I know they're sending these surveys to everyone, to a lot of people who have passes and things like that. But so I got one of these too, and I want to, share my opinions with them, and I guess I'll share them publicly because why not? And I don't know what they're going to ask me. I don't know. I'm assuming these are questions about what I would prefer the parks to look like when they reopen, and what would make me safe coming back. So let's get into this. Okay, what's your age? That's easy. Okay, now then, which of the following Southern California theme parks have you ever heard of before today? Well, I've heard of all of them. This is what me and my wife like to do for fun. Do you currently have or have you previously owned an annual pass or a season pass of any of the following? Okay, previously had one, currently have one, never have one, previously had one. Are you a Universal Studios employee? No. Where is your permanent place of residence? I want to say Mexico just to have fun, but no, United States. What is your home zip code? Okay, well, that I guess. And hold on 1 minute, folks. We do not want that information out there. All right, let's go back. So, when you answer questions about your ethnic origin, which of the following do you select to subscribe yourself? Select all that apply. I technically am Latino. I'm Puerto Rican, but I have a little bit of, paleness in me because that's the Irish side from my mom. So, that's what I do. I am male. How many children? None. Do you or does anyone in your household work at any of the following types of business or occupation? Well, for privacy reasons, I am not going to share this information. All right. Which of the following describes your role in the household's decision of which types of entertainment to pursue? I share the decision with my wife. Please include how likely you are to visit or do each of the following next 12 months. A museum, that seems like a definitely not. I have not been to a museum in a long time. Theme parks, amusement parks, that's kind of up in the air. Seeing a live filming taping, that's a definitely not. We probably won't be doing too many traveling. Beaches, that's I'm not going to say definitely not, but that's a probably not. Shopping, well, definitely will. Movie or TV studio behind the scenes tour. That depends if we go back to Universal Studios this year or not. By participating in the survey, you agree to keep the contents of the surveys oops. Oh well, too late for that. So let's be a rebel. Let's just go ahead and do this one. So the next few questions will be about Southern California theme parks or amusement parks. So please rate each of the following theme parks based on what you've seen, read, heard. Well, excellent, very good, excellent. I've heard mixed things. Knott's Farm, sure. Why not? Do you recall seeing or hearing any advertisement within this past 6 months for any of the following? I actually did see an ad for Knott's Farm. So, I don't know why they want to keep this secret. Like, this is all personalized anyway. Where did you see or hear the advertising for each theme park? This was a billboard. Within the different theme parks in Southern California, there are often seasonal events. What is your level of familiarity? Running at Universal, let's see here. This, yeah, have experienced it. Have experienced, but have not experienced. Have experienced it. Yeah. There you go. When was the last time you visited each of the theme parks? Well, nothing's in the past month. I would say this. Probably that one. Never been to SeaWorld. I would say this was more than a year ago. I think that one. In the next 12 months, how likely would you be to visit the following theme parks? Probably will not. definitely will not. Might or might not. Probably will not. I, actually, yeah, I think Universal might be the one where we probably will. So, maybe. Why are you unlikely to visit Disneyland? Too darn expensive. Too expensive. Sorry. Can't believe. Expense. I can't believe I messed that up. Live. Am I getting flack for that in the comments? No. No, not yet, but I probably will. Which of the following are reasons you want to visit Universal Studios? I like the rides. I enjoy visiting theme parks. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is at Universal Studios. Um, but I do like the world of Harry Potter. Why not? Yeah, why not? What rides are you interested in experiencing at Universal Studios Hollywood? The Secret Life of Pets ride because it's new and I haven't experienced it yet. Which of the following is the main reason you want to? I enjoy visiting theme parks. I just do. Knott's Scary Farm is a seasonal event in Knott's Scary Farm, available as a separately ticketed event on select days in September and October. Knott's Scary Farm features mazes. How interesting? Only slightly, I would say. Halloween Horror Nights is a seasonal event. Moderately, I would say. I'm not a big Halloween guy. Now, let's talk specifically about a few theme parks you are aware of. Please think specifically about Universal Studios Hollywood. How much do you agree or disagree? Is it good value for the money? Yeah, I agree completely. A place where I can celebrate a special occasion? Yeah, completely. Is recommended by friends and family? No, not really. Provides a full day of entertainment? Somewhat. I mean, when you throw in a movie at the AMC City Walk, it does. Has activities the whole family? Yeah. Provides the ability to experience new things? Not really. They don't update it that often, actually. Has activities specifically for children? Yes. Offers a wide variety of entertainment options? Yes, completely agree. Okay, so where the thrills and excitement of Hollywood come to life? Sure, why not? Has thrilling rides? Yep. Is a happy place fun and fancy? Yep. Has specific rides? Yep. Provides escapes to world movies? Yep. Yep. Has new rides? Somewhat disagree on that one. Oh, they were so close on that. All right. Is a good place to visit for those who live in Southern California? Agree. Has seasonal events? Yep. It's a place that is always featured on TV shows and movies? No. I actually really don't see a lot of people at Universal Studios and shows. Is an iconic place to live at? Sure. Help with quality control, please, Mark. Disagree somewhat for this statement. Okay. I guess they must want to make sure that I'm not a bot. Is safe. I'm gonna be neither agree or disagree just because I don't know what it's like after the pandemic. Is a place you want to visit several times a year? Yes. Is a brand I feel personally connected to? Yes. It's a good place to visit for a tour? Yes. Has employees who provide good service? Well, they do what they can. I mean, it's a minimum wage job. Has a good selection of food options? Yeah. I mean, I always go to the Krusty Burger, but I see other things there. So, please think specifically about Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. How much do you agree or disagree that each of the following statements describe these parks? It's a place where I can. Yeah, I agree. Provides a full day of entertainment? Yes. Has new ride? Yes. Has activities as a whole? Yes. Provides the ability to experience new things? Yes. Has. Yeah. Yep. Good is a good value for the money. Shoot, that's a tough one. I don't know. See, I really like it, but I mean, it is like about $200 a day now. I think I disagree with that, to be honest. And it's obviously recommended by friends and families, and it obviously has attraction specifically for children. Please think specifically about Disney. Okay. Is a place you want to visit? Yeah, if I could afford it, I would. Uh, yep. Yeah. Yep. Please agree somewhat. Okay. Has thrilling rides? A few. Is a happy place? Yep. Yep. Yeah, they. Maybe. So let's see here. An iconic place is a place where, yeah, because of course Disney's always being featured in TV and movies. I mean, Disney owns ABC. Has seasonal events. Has good. It does have a good selection of food options, and yeah, I feel pretty safe there. Um, but I'm going to go with neither agree or disagree just because of the pandemic. As a brand, I feel yeah, I'm very personally connected to Disneyland. So okay. Next few. You mentioned you are likely to visit Universal Studios Hollywood. The next few questions are about that future visit. Okay. Who will you likely visit with? Your spouse. During which months would you? Honestly, these are the months I would probably most like. I don't know how I feel about June or July just yet. All these attractions will be okay. So, which of the following attractions do you absolutely have to experience if you visit? Well, The Secret Life of Pets. So, you know, I'm more excited about Nintendo themed land. How interested are you in visiting The Secret Life of Pets at Universal? Extremely interested. Are about movies, TV shows that you may have heard of, okay? What is your level of familiarity with each of the following? Extremely, extremely, extremely. Wicked Warfare. I've never heard of that one. Well, actually, I guess that's a more realistic response. Pioneer Jambineer, never. Extremely familiar, extremely familiar. Never heard of that one. Have you or any of your family read any of the following? Yes, no. Have anyone in your family seen any of the following films? Yes, 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 yes. Think about Universal Studios Hollywood. Please read the following descriptions. And boy, this is a long survey. I'm all about. There we go. The following. This is what I was hoping for. Like I fully expect. So let's see here. First of all, is anyone still here? There's 10 people. Yeah. Okay. So this is where you guys can start vocally disagreeing with me if you want. To what extent do you agree or disagree with each of the following statements about the C virus? I am canceling or planning to cancel memberships and or annual passes, gym memberships. I'm going to slightly disagree on that one. We don't have any plans to cancel. We just kind of have to wait and see on that. Due to the C virus, I'm trying to limit the amount of money I spend. I disagree, if only because I was forced to to not spend a lot of money in the last few months, so we've got some money saved right now. At a minimum, which action signals are necessary to let you know you can resume normal activities? CDC announces a vaccination is available. Yeah, why not? I've got high standards. When do you think you'll be able to resume normal activities? No. I hate to be pessimistic, but yeah. Maybe September, October. Please list the first 3 leisure activities. Movie theater, theme parks, Road trip. You may have already mentioned some of these, but which of the following activities are the first leisurely activities you plan to do once you return to normal? Okay, so go to a place of worship, go to a restaurant, yeah, like to see a live production, go to the movies, theme park, go to the gym. Yeah, sure, why not? Once the government announces you can return to your normal activities, and what time frame? More than a, I don't. Maybe this one's the gym's probably a while. Once the state government permits it, Universal Studios will reopen. How likely to consider visiting if the park reopens following its pre-C virus standard operating and safety procedures? Wait, what? How's this worded? That's undecided because it depends when they do that. And studio tours, crowding. And by the way, that crowding, that's just in general, so. Below you'll find various measures that could help protect you. You know what? Well, actually, no. Why not? We should almost be done. 150. Yeah, I think this is a basic. This would. No. Distributes the glass. Okay, so actually what's interesting about this is that it looks like they're not going to discontinue the 3D rides, which is nice. Equals, I don't think that's as needed. Requires all guests to have temperature taken. Yeah, I think it's basic. Yep, basic. Suspend nighttime show. Hammering. This would not affect me. A rapid. Yeah, can you do that? Can you actually force everyone to take a test? That would actually be helpful for a lot of reasons. That would be helpful for a lot of reasons. Like, if you could just take the test there, like, great. Yes, basic requirement. Basic requirement. I think sanitizing between, yeah, you probably should do that. Basic requirement. Only seats guests ever. See, I'm not going to be too hard on them. I want them to reopen. I want them to do safe. Reduce. No, that doesn't really affect. I think that might be a little bit of a problem. Yep. Requires all. There we go. All right. Below are pairs of statements meant to express the attitude that some people may have about the curse. Please indicate the extent to which you identify. I don't under. Oh, I see. I see how it is. I'm definitely more nervous now than I was yesterday. I think this is a little bit more important to me. Yeah, I believe this too. I mean, some people might be surprised to see me, considering, but look, you wear the mask to do the social distance. I don't have as much. Married. What is the highest? Some college. What if the following describes your current employment? In many ways, I'm full time. Your response has been recorded. Okay, so that took a little bit longer than I thought was going to take. But anyway, all right, let's see if there's any questions to take care of real quick. Let's see here. Naz, the gig accountant, says, I can see the major restaurants having their own fleets and small restaurants relying on gig workers. Well, maybe, although I think ultimately everyone, because of how high the fees are, I think it would just make more economic sense for most restaurants to have their own dedicated delivery driver. So, yeah, and Naz also says, I'm delivering and people walking around and hanging out like everything is normal. Well, it's not. And Naz also says, by the way, Naz, thank you for being so active here. I think that it's tough for businesses like Chuck E. Cheese to survive today in America since there are lots of options at home. I think there's a lot of opportunity internationally, though. Yeah, but, people still like to get out of the house, and that's what's ultimately going to help them. So, William Connor says, are you an iPhone hater? Well, no. I wouldn't say I hate the iPhone. I don't think it's particularly special in any way, though, but, so I'm kind of neutral about it, to be honest. Okay. Well, there's not a lot of questions, so we are going to end that one. Thank you for joining us, and you know the drill. If you have watched the whole thing here, we'd like to know what you think. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.